unique today, and why I find this work fascinating is because we've had 4 generations existing in our country before, but we've never had 4 generations in the workplace working together at the same time, ever before. This is the first time this has happened. So can you see why this is really becoming a diversity issue, and why a lot of companies are struggling with this?
Now, I'm a cusper. I was born in 1976, so I'm right on the edge there of Gen X and Gen Y, which gives me a unique perspective because I understand the Gen X mentality because I grew up with them, but I also have my hand in Gen Y, and I was raised by 2 parents that were on the cusp of the baby boomer mature generation. So I feel like I've had my hand in each of them to some extent.
And Gen Y believe in building a parallel, passionate career. You will find a lot of Gen Yers in Starbucks just waiting for their life purpose to hit them. Because they were told, find a job that makes you happy, right? Because we all should be jumping out of bed and running to work every day. And passionate. And this is also a generation that wants to make a difference. That's very, very important to them. Now, the problem with this is we're experiencing what I call adultolescence, delayed adulthood. A lot of young people aren't even entering the workforce to 26, 27. So in managing your younger employees, it's very important to give them bursts of short information, remember, because this is an ADD generation.
And teach soft skills. This is what a lot of companies bring me in to do, is really teach Gen Yers how to communicate, how to problem solve, how to do critical thinking, how to meet someone for the first time, how to carry on a conversation without using the word like a lot.
How many of you have interviewed a younger potential employee and you felt like you were the one being interviewed? They come in with a lot of questions. What can this company do for me? How quickly can I be promoted? Me, 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 me. Why? Gen Y, they are not tech savvy. They are tech dependent. Dependent. I was facilitating a group for 20-somethings one time, and a girl came in late, and she was flustered, and she was crying, and I thought, oh, Lord, what am I going to have to deal with? Did this girl get in an accident? I don't know what's going on. And I looked at her and I said, are you okay? What happened? I lost my cell phone. I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't even know how to call my mom. I don't know her number. It was the end of the world. Some great things about this generation is they're extremely socially conscious, and they're very tolerant. You know, diversity really isn't an issue for them because they grew up with it. Also, if you say to Gen Y, think outside the box, they say, what box? The box doesn't exist. You know, the way that their brains were wired from all the constant input and all the immediacy of their life, they think very quickly on their feet. So again, it's getting beyond the stereotypes and into the assets of each generation.
So asking why, don't look at it like they're challenging you. Don't look at it like, oh, that little snotty kid wants to know why. When he works here 20 years, then I'll tell him why. That's just how they think. If you say do this, well, just explain why, and then they'll be satisfied.
Matures, we first, nose to the grindstone. Who even knows what a grindstone is? But man, nose to it. Boomers, pay your dues. How many of you said this or heard this? You gotta pay your dues. Gen X, prove it to me, like I said. Prove it to me. And Gen Y, instant gratification. Matures are leaving. Boomers are retiring. Some of the boomers aren't retiring, and Xers are looking at them like, get out already, please. I can't stop paying for your Social Security. And what's gonna happen to Gen Y? Let's look at how they were parented. They were parented during a kid-centric time. They were parented where moms drove around, baby on board, my kid's an honor student, da 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 da.
This is weird, this is new to this generation, but address parents as part of your workforce strategy. I have a lot of people in smaller companies who invite parents to come to that first day of work lunch and get to know the Gen Yers' parents. And this actually works really, really well because mom says to their young, Gen Y employee, you can never leave this company. These people are great. They invited me to lunch. You can never leave. So if you get the parents, engaged, you're going to have more loyalty from their kids as well. two things that really impact the work I do today. Number one, that people in their 20s were really searching for answers about who they are, what they want, how to get it. And they were really struggling to find those answers. And number two, that generations really are united by the issues that they are struggling with. There's a common language that generations speak.
So having a brainstorming session with members of each generation when you're trying to approach a problem is a fantastic way to really solve a problem, rather than just meeting with the higher-ups, rather than just meeting with the managers. Bring your younger employees in, hear what they have to say, because things occur to them that may not occur to you. And talk about reverse mentoring opportunities. That's really one of the key takeaways here in terms of bridging a multi-generational workforce. How can you create reverse mentoring opportunities within your companies? That is how you really, really do solve this diversity issue. And a lot of you may say, oh my gosh, this sounds like a lot of work. Can't everybody just get along? But it really doesn't have to be. If you really understand the mentality, it's sort of like the Mars-Venus thing with men and women. If we just understand that we work differently and our brains work differently based on how we were parented, the technology we grew up with, and the life expectancy, if we just understand that and make it not a problem but just a fact of life, we can come up with creative ways of engaging every member of your workforce and create more opportunities for everyone to work together. That hierarchy structure, the older you get, the bigger your office and closed-door meetings, that really is dissipating. Around job change, the mature generation believes it carries stigma. Boomers thinks it puts you behind. Gen X believes it's necessary. Gen Y believes it's routine. The current statistic between 21 and 31, average number of jobs, 9. The other thing, when we look at parenting trends, think about Gen Y. They're friends with their parents. I hear this a lot from managers and executives and HR reps, that there's no respect for authority for older people. They come in and they want to be at the same level right away. Again, understand this has a lot to do with the way they were parented. This has a lot to do with the way they were parented. They really do see you as their equals, as their peers. So we got 6 to 7 million Gen Yers coming in the workforce. They're going to be making up the entire 18 to 34 demographic by 2010. They are going to be as strong as the baby boomers. So they're coming in masses. Even though they're only 10% now, they are going to become the majority of who you're hiring. So that's why it's so critical to understand this generation. While at the same time, how is the knowledge being transferred as the matures are leaving, as the baby boomers are leaving? I know a colleague of mine that I speak with was speaking at an engineering company. And he asked them, what's your biggest problem? Well, we've got 60% of our workforce retiring in the next 2 years. And the problem is our older engineers, they can walk onto the floor, the operating floor, and they can hear a problem. They can hear it. They know immediately. Whereas our younger employees, they go to their computer. It takes them all day to analyze it. They don't know. So we've got this knowledge transfer problem. So not only are we going to have to learn how to deal with Gen Y, attract them, engage them, retain them, but as the baby boomers and matures are leaving, how can you make sure that the skills and the knowledge are passed on?